Skeptics, visitors, welcome to the Skeptic Tank. Let's swim in the waters of traditions and orthodoxies as we move towards the top of that triangle to find the common threads, likely, more than likely, uniting us all. Let's dive in. Howdy, fellow skeptics. Lester the Skeptic Tank here. I was inspired by watching another YouTuber by the name of Low Spec Linux Laptop. He's been on other streams I've been participating in, as well as watching. And I was watching some of his Misconceptions of Linux video that he put out a couple of years ago, based per YouTube's description of it. And I'm sure we're all, I don't know if we're victim of it, but we're in the habit of doing it. We're pretty comfortable in our little bubbles, not in a bad way, but you're at peace with where you are. There isn't much need to explore much time, especially because when you have a full-time job and you just have so many hours in a day. Some people have a job and a family, maybe a job, hobbies, a fur baby, maybe two. Totally get it. You just need to do what you need to do in your given computing space, whether we're talking your mobile devices or in cases like mine where I'm often on a workstation of some sort. And watching it, I just saw the description in his walkthrough. And it just got me thinking, okay, I never heard of Lutris. And throughout my videos, you've seen me utilize Slack builds quite a bit. Because, again, if as he mentioned, Monharo, which is a distribution based off of a very popular distribution out there in the Linux world called Arch, he jokes it about being Arch for dummies. I think those are his words. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But if you want, you can watch that Misconceptions of Linux, which is, I think, is a thorough walkthrough of how much easier Linux has become, or really is. At least like when I described when I started exploring Linux, this was in the early aughts. I'm sure there was a lot more available than I realized, but at least with the increased efficiency of various search engines, I'm able to get my answers quicker. So go looking that up. I'm going to dig up Lutris, because the way it was described, it's an open source gaming platform. So it's almost akin to Steam, but not quite sure. The only way I know for sure is I'll play with it. And as we talked about in my other videos about dependencies, again, I haven't shown you a video about what dependency chasing is like at the worst end. I can give you a quick example. I did slog through building all this for VLC, which has been a popular media player over the decades. Yeah, that's how long it's been around. It's been around for decades. And I shied away from installing it until I realized I needed that for, I forget which program. I think it was Cinelera. Let's fact check that for a second. No, it must have been for another. It had to be for another software. Let's see, make him. No, not make him. It can make MKV, but otherwise, let's stay on target. I'm gonna go to Lutris. I'm gonna go to the first one, optional. Let's install this. Let's see if I can get this going. ModDB. Yay, it doesn't have any dependencies. Funny how I cheer over something as trivial as that. But you never know. Having slogged through dependency hell, as it's often been joked, you'll take that win where you can get it. So here we are. Again, going back to my I've heard him use the term terminal, and that is accurate. I call it my command line or console, but either one works. However, you've been used to using that term, whichever term that happens to be. I'm going to log into super user. There it is. I'm going to check where I'm at. Ah, looks like I'm where I'm wanting to be. And like before, ModDB. Change my tell it in a batch setup commands, and then I'm going to run the Slack build. Again. I think you saw in my other video, I might not have demonstrated it, but I might have. Basically, I ran the upgrade package and said, hey, there's no package to upgrade. So I forgot to add the install new. So that's very important. And again, case sensitivity is a thing. Yep. I don't know if I want to resolve. You notice how I've gotten that lately. It's because of how I handled that symbolic link, or how when I installed MidTV, it couldn't find those. I could have created a symbolic link, but that means I'd have to set it up individually. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause it for now, and then I'll get back to the other dependencies. Alright folks and fellow skeptics, we're going to move on to the next dependency again based on the previous description. It is an optional dependency. I will go back. Yeah, very good. Lutris is what I'm looking for. We'll see where that comes into play. This guide has been very helpful in figuring out, okay, is there something I need to keep in mind when I'm going to build the overall program, and an optional dependency can come into play if I need to use certain arguments as they're defined. Whether or not I'm going to include this, and I would say yes or no. I'm going to go to the required dependencies, and very nice. So far, nothing required other than just get the main files, and as the saying goes, wash, rinse, and repeat. On that cheery note, I'm going to go back to where I need to go. So cd ... make sure I'm in the right area. I'm going to look for the P's. All right. Nope. Gotta make sure I'm aware of my case sensitivity. Going on to the next. This is going to be the fun part. So I don't know if I've had this installed. So this is where the chasing begins, particularly with this. So if I want to build this, well, what I can double check is see if I even have WebKit installed. So I'm going to type in locate WebKit. And based on what I'm not seeing, I do not. At least not based on the, if it's, I would imagine if the program I'm going to build is going to look for it, then it's not going to find it. All right, so this is going to be, that doesn't look too bad. Oh, see, I need another one. This is what I'm talking about, the chase. See, this is what I was talking about, the arguments I need to lay out if I want to do certain things. Okay. All right. Okay, once again, we'll catch you in the next set we're going to do, because this is going to be a process, and I want to again tip the hat to Low Spec Linux Laptop and his walkthrough of Misconceptions. I would like for you to check that one out. I know it's about 2 years old, but a lot of the points made are very much relevant, and especially for those who want to take the plunge into Linux but need more of a safety net. Not saying that that's anything bad. That's how I got back into it. I used a distribution that, as he termed, when it came to Manjaro anyway, it's Arch Linux for Dummies. And he's basing that off what he had been exposed to with Arch proper. There is something particular to Arch and a similar distro by the name of Gentoo, which I believe I dropped in my earlier Linux videos. The thing with distributions like those, just to keep in mind, if you're going to do it by the numbers in the way they do it, you're going to want another machine, because building that, depending on the hardware being used to run it, build time can be in the span of hours. I remember trying to set up my Gentoo environment, and I just realized, yeah, I need another machine, because I will not be deployable in the amount of time I need to be deployable. Say if I need something in hours, I can easily do that with Slackware or any of the other more recent distros, which, again, take a watch. He does clear a lot of misconceptions, and there are probably others still out there. But I think he lays a good groundwork as far as the main misconceptions. I think, though the other flavors are not my cup of tea, because of my objectives. So everyone's going to have a personal sense of objective because of their experience, because of their upbringing, or because of how they were taught, educated, or trained. If you want to get into Linux just so that you can figure out what makes it tick, you don't have to go under the hood like he mentions in his video. You don't have to go too much into the hood, but as he says, and I found myself, you might find yourself using, as he terms it, terminal. I use terminal in certain spots. I use command line, I use console, whatever you want to term it, but basically where you're typing out the commands instead of doing the click gestures, or if you got a monitor with the feature touch based. And believe it or not, I installed Linux on one of my laptops. I think it's a 2015 Lenovo, and the touchscreen works just fine. So it's going to be up to you. Again, just from my standpoint, I use Slackware because I like the idea I can make it as hard, I can make it as easy. And if you need something to just help you get comfortable to the way Linux thinks and ticks, start with something out like his preference has been Ubuntu, Xubuntu. I remember they had a Kubuntu, which was a version of Ubuntu using the K desktop. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know, fall from grace, but it's likely seems to be out of the cycle without digging more into the Ubuntu line. So again, I will come back with the next aspect, because as you're seeing, this might end up being a marathon. Not terrible, but you see what kind of chasing I'm going to have to do. Alright, catch you guys later. Howdy fellow skeptics, just thought I'd get the ball rolling here. Again, I have to go in with this, and I'm just going to go by the numbers. This one, like I highlighted previously, doesn't seem to require any, so I'm going to do that. I usually go left to right, that's just how I go about it. and I just investigate what would be the quickest to build. Oh, I just instituted a feature I didn't intend to, but I may demonstrate in another video, which is, you know how we have Alt-Tab for Windows? And it's the same command in Linux, actually, within that desktop environment. With any given desktop environment, Linux, as far as I understand it. But if you use Windows key and tab, you get into the realm of switching your workspaces. I haven't made full use of that, to be honest, because I haven't really felt the need to go that far. But it just opens the realm of possibilities with respect to multitasking. And speaking of multitasking, I talked about my double monitor setup, and it has its virtues. Did I just go down? I did. I think I was already in desktop. It helps to run the dir before. Anyway, let's do this. And just to make sure, I'm going to move. Let's do this. Let's make this here. And that there. I'm going to close this download section. And again, as I'll give credit where it's due, Windows does a nicer job of cascading windows or tiling windows if you're into that kind of thing. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's mine in certain spots. So I'm going to look for, I think it's unif def. So I'm going to unif, right? I'm going to type move. Okay, sensitivity is a thing, as I've said throughout. Running my Slack builds like I know how. And again, like I mentioned in previous portions, it helps to use this, especially if there isn't a pre-existing installation in the system. And just do my thing like so. There it is. Now moving on to the hunt. So I want to build this one, but I need to build this one first. So they talk about dependencies. So something depends on something, which depends on something else. And again, going back to my comments about making the life easier, especially for new people, a lot of the newer distributions make it easier by like I mentioned in another video about resolving those dependencies. You don't have to do much chasing. The application in any given desktop environment for a lot of these newer distributions, they help fish for those resources you're looking for. Okay, so I just have to do one cd ... And again, I'm just going to go WPE. Okay. And it looks like I just need to use the dash and then live WPE and then change. Sometimes it can be quite cumbersome to just keep putting in the commands in a sequence like what I've been doing, but I find it helpful if it's not too lengthy. Sometimes it can get rather lengthy. Yep. Yep. There we go. That one is done. I'm going to get out, and I've installed a dependency of a dependency. And let's get this guy, WP backend. WP backend. Oh, it helps to type the command correctly. I didn't see that. It's period, not a comma. Not a comma. There we go. There we are. That's what I meant to do. That was good. That was nice and quick. Again, helps to type it correctly. Getting out. Oh, that was a tilde next to my switch. All right. Should spell upgrade correctly. There we go. Okay, I only have a few more libraries to go. I'll probably spare you guys the time. Get back to you once I'm ready to install the main program. Alright, catch you guys later. Hey fellow skeptics, now we're down to the... Well, this is the one we're gonna get. So, this is the one that we've been needing to get. Got everything compiled, everything installed. At least for this library. And as you can see, my command prompt, my command line is there. Get out of my current directory. There we go. Oh, helps to make sure I type that correctly. Alright. So as I explained in other videos, it's going to extract, or it already has, it's extracted the source tarball. And then depending on how long this takes to build, I may get back to you on that. So the configuring is done, that's the usual process. Once the configure is done, they move on to building. Alright, looks like this one's going to be a bit, it's got up to 6,000 items. You can tell the number there on the right. So I'll get back to you once again and go from there. Howdy fellow skeptics, thank you for your patience. This took its time to build, but it actually finished yesterday. I just either lost sight of it or whatever happened at the time, but I think I was coming from a church service that ran a couple of hours and change, but I'm here this morning. It's going to be a short one, I believe. because as I did some quick scouting on compiling the rest, it's going to be some more chasing. So I'm going to get this one out of the way, and I'm going to review Slack builds here. I'm going to go back to the overall package. It was again Lutris. Again, according to low spec Linux laptop, this is another gaming application, and it says so on the page. I am again interested in seeing what I end up with. It's always nice to have more options, especially when it comes to something as niche as gaming, particularly Linux gaming versus Windows. And over the time since I've adopted Linux in 2010, a lot has changed in the landscape. And again, go back to his channel, his Misconceptions video covers a lot of ground. A lot has been done throughout the years. This is one of the reasons why I appreciate the Linux community, and I can never really get myself out of it, although I'm not as entrenched as I used to be. But the fact you've got independent people who are either doing this for free or something along those lines, or just taking time out of their day. They might have day jobs, or this may be their job, but they speed the development up. And yeah, Microsoft does have its team of developers, but especially when you've got a wide net of developers all around the world trying to improve the product. And they'll, to a degree, Linux community speaking, they'll hold your hand to a degree, but the joke is often, well, you're running Linux. You're kind of expected to develop a level of self-sufficiency. I will still, like I mentioned throughout my other videos, I've often looked things up, get the answers to the questions I'm looking for, and go from there. So as I mentioned, this is the last dependency, at least the requisite dependency. And in order to build this last dependency, I have to go and get these. Oh, okay. Let's see. It's really interesting. Well, LXML, I need to get. Well, that's interesting. Optional. And this is the required. So mileage may vary. If you just need what you need, you just go with what is required. So I'll likely have to do some more building here, as you're seeing. And this is just for, and then if I wanted to, I can go here. Oh wow, looks like I need more. Oh, let's go back to Beautiful Soup 4. Okay, what do I need from here? What do I need from here? What do I need from here? So there's going to be a lot of chasing going on, and I hope to get back to you guys when it comes to building the actual LXML package, and then eventually get to Lutris itself, and then go off of that. All right. Catch you guys later. Hey all, fellow skeptics. Just giving an update. I have attempted to install the last dependency, throughout. I think I stopped at LXML. That's already been compiled, installed, as well as Lutris itself. I'm just going to give you an update about what I've done to this point. I updated my wine. I had 6.1, I believe, since. It's already up to 8.01, and yes, there are upgraded builds. So wine staging, this is like the developmental version. I'm going to try to get some of these dependencies. Let's see if I can do that. Yep. And then I'm going to do the same with ICO utils, just in case. Looks like I already have a copy of that downloaded. And I don't know if I even downloaded this Q for wine. Again, one of the things I appreciate about Linux overall is just the ability to see what a particular library is all about. Why would I want to install it, for example? And I've already downloaded this one, just in case. But wine staging, I don't think I've I'm going to see if I can grab this real quick. Very important. I'm going to comb through this if I decide to go... oh, not wine staging. I want to go to wine tricks. Excuse me. Wine tricks is... I think I already got this. Yep. I'll just get it just in case because I don't think I installed a version that was pushed out this year. So I might do that. So just in case, I do have Lutris already launched. It's just a matter of figuring out how to map everything. A lot of this looks like I need to do some configuring on the back end. I'm just going to give an example. So it says your limits are not set correct. Please increase them as described here. And so I have the link already set in my browser. Here it is. So what is eSync? And it gives me an idea. Interesting, they talk about user.conf. Well, I don't have a user.conf or a system.conf. Maybe if I do some quick digging up in my command line while I'm at it. It's been a while since I ran Slack package on my side. I'm going to just do it quick and easy. I'm going to Slack package. See if I need to update anything. Update. See if there's anything new. And as always, as I mentioned throughout my videos, if there is something already up to date, I'm going to be prompted if I want to re-download this package list. I usually respond with no, but it looks like there are some new things to grab. And then usually what I'll do, knowing this, I'll just do upgrade. Usually you can do it by the package, but I like to just see what's available and then I'll just determine if I want to upgrade that or not. Interesting. What do I have installed? Extra. I already have that. I don't think I need that. Got everything in my multilib. Let's see if I have this guy already in my multilib. I believe I do. Yep. Yep. I don't need that either. Oh. Mozilla Thunderbird. And Mariah, an updated version of MariaDB. Nice. So I got those two. But yes, I'll be digging through this. Let's go see. How to make your system eSync compatible. Your system... Let's see if I can, just based off of that, if I want. Alright, that looks to be done. Let's see if I can bring this over and see what I need to type. Nope. Funny. Slackware does not have systemd to my recent memory. Let's see if this ulimit. It probably is a unknown command. Looks like a HN, Hotel November. Okay, it returned something. Great. So then it says async compatible and says if it is greater than 524.288, your system is okay. Let's see if user conf is somewhere in my E. I'm going to go to CD. If I want, I can just go, okay. Let's look up U. Okay, nothing. Let's locate, if I can. Only in the realm of fonts. Interesting. Okay, so it's saying go into security. As you can see that I do have that snippet in the page. If I bring it here, it says if you are on Linux distributions not using systemd, like mine, using PAM limits, or needing edit security. So I'm in there. I'm in the E etc. folder. I'm going to see if I can go to, let's see if I'm still there. I think I am. I'm going to go to CD security. Yep, and it's a folder, and if I go there, there's limits within my, yes it is. Okay, so I can take a look, and what I use it while I'm in command line is I'm going to use nano. I could, and I go limit. I can, it's already there. I can go limit. Okay, and I go conf. I can take a look and see what I need to edit. Interesting. And back in my old days of studying programming, no, I'm not a computer scientist by any means. Took one programming class and that was pretty much it. However, my recollection tells me anything with a octothorpe, commonly known as a hashtag, #, whatever. I can take out that symbol to the left of the words you see, and that will make it a valid piece of information. Basically, it's telling don't use any of these limits. So I will take a look at that, and I will look through this guide, and I'll get back to you. But at the very least, this guide shows that you can set up Lutris within Slackware. It's just about setting it up. You can install Lutris in Slackware. It's just about the setup process that might need more handling, if you will. All right. Catch you guys later.